Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and today we're going to talk about my experience over the last couple of days with Eversoul, what my thoughts are regarding it. So let's go ahead and dig in. Now, this likely isn't a game that I'm going to be covering on my channel extensively, but I did want to cover it because a lot of my viewers have asked me to. They've kind of wanted my opinion on it, and I decided to give it a go for probably about the last 3 or 4 days. I haven't made it insanely deep into the game, but I would say that I have put a good amount of time in just playing it, and from everything that I've experienced so far, it feels like a very fun, very free to play, very almost welcoming game to players of all levels. It is one of those games where you're gonna come in, and of course, it is what it is. It's gonna be a waifu AFK idler, and you just kind of have to know that going in, right? But when you're looking at things like gameplay and things to do, there's a lot to do. It definitely keeps you busy. You have things like the primary battle system, which is going to be based on position, units, and kind of location. And to compare this to, for example, War of the Visions or other gacha games, there are a lot more characters than a lot of these other games that come out. Memento Mori, another AFK idler that I played recently, this game probably has 2 to 3 times more characters than that game had on launch. And what that does is it adds more complexity, more variety to the strategy, and makes it really interesting. So you do have a formation that you can set up here. I tend to just use the auto placement, and then you can go into battle. And what's interesting here is for those that do want to kind of get in and experience a more tactical gameplay type of situation, you do have a gameplay which is, potentially one where you could time attacks together and chain attacks into finishing. You can even program your abilities to go off in a certain order if you want to maybe chain one attack into another attack into another attack. The complexity of abilities and use of abilities is pretty cool, and every unit is different in their own regard, and they do seem to all have different uses, whether it's going to be AoE, individual damage, burst damage, tanking, healing. They all kind of do their own things, and that's part of the fun of this game. You go into it, and of course there's a massive tier list. If you go into the tier list, there's probably there's so many units and so many S tier units in a variety of situations, but it feels like no matter kind of what direction you go, you're going to be able to make something work, or you're going to be able to change up your team composition in a certain way. Now, there is a lot of animations in this, and I would say for someone who kind of comes into this game wanting to play it, it doesn't feel as smooth as I wish it would be. If there was one drawback for the combat, I do wish it would go a little bit slower. I wish it would be just that little bit more involved, or it would display in a bit of a different way. It doesn't feel like I have total control over the situation, and it almost feels unnecessarily flashy, I would say, and it takes too long to do a battle. What you guys just saw there was me doing a battle, and that's probably the normal speed of doing battles, and you do have to load every time you go into a battle, and that was a loading screen that you guys did see. So that's definitely one of the drawbacks that this game has, whereas if we had gone in and it had been like 2D models or something like that, it probably would have loaded much faster and been able to process much more smoothly. Outside of the loading issues, though, there is a ton to do in this game, and if you're someone who likes to play gacha games that have a lot of story, that are reasonably free to play friendly, that really let you connect with your characters, this is the game for you. You have the EverTalk system where you literally text message your units, which is fun, which also opens up a variety of different content for you to do. You have the archive, which is going to have the main story. You can also do the love story, or you can do the event quests, which are really great. You'll notice it's bugging out a little bit here for me. This has been my standard experience on BlueStacks. If you're someone who really likes a solid mobile game that's not going to have issues, I would play this on your phone, not on BlueStacks. However, to the developers' credit, they have been updating this game nonstop. Like, I have never seen a developer update their game as much as this developer has in terms of putting out bug patches and fixing things. So it feels like the developer cares and is invested in making their game stable. Whereas you have games like War of the Visions, right, where it's just going to be unstable for 6 months and they're not going to give a shit. So I will say credit to the developer for that. You know, it is playable on BlueStacks. It does have some bugs and issues, but they are patching things. It's getting better, and I'm sure on your actual mobile phone it's going to be absolutely incredible. Now, when we're looking at the summon system, you do get free summons every day. You do also get a ton of summon tickets, and I don't think this is just because I'm a new player. I think the game is just designed, like most idle games, around being able to pull units, and you are guaranteed an epic soul every 30 pulls. It's one of the most generous gacha games that I have ever seen in terms of being able to pull higher rarity units and build out your roster, and I really like it for that. And I think it makes it very free to play friendly, and there's a whole variety of things I could go into, but I would say overall the archetype or the bones of the game are really good. It doesn't feel predatory. When you go into the cash shop even, like, I have no desire to buy this stuff because, like, this says I could get for $41 3,250 gems. That's about 2 or 3 pulls. Why do I even need to do that? Because I could literally get that by just playing through some story missions, working through things. It almost seems overpriced to me. So I don't even really worry about it because I feel like I don't need to in order to play the game or progress in the game. Now, later on, you know, probably you do need that, but for where I'm at in the game right now, I don't feel the need to. It also doesn't seem like there is an overwhelming amount of PvP. There are other games such as Memento Mori where PvP is more prevalent, where you have guild wars, you're controlling territory, and it's very much, you know, whales are going to win, whales are going to dominate. And of course that's going to be true this game, but you're not going to be constantly having it shoved in your face. You're not constantly going to be having a whale bitch slap you into the ground and just be like, yeah, this is my day to day, right? Like, this is how it's going to be. So I do say so far I am enjoying it. You also have tons of side content. So you have dungeons, you have arena, you have challenges, you have the town, which is very similar. If you guys have ever played the second Ni no Kuni game, where not the gacha game, but actually the literal second Ni no Kuni game, where you literally are like building up a town and you're placing buildings and stuff. That's really what this feels like. And for me, I don't particularly like, you know, having to run around and interact, because you do have to interact with your characters here to unlock, for example, like love story quests. But I could see a lot of people really loving this. You can see here, I was able to place a building here. That of course gets me a part-time job, which I can send my characters on. And there's a variety of places that I could build my town up in. I could, if I wanted to, chop down this tree here, make some room for things, and just kind of go from there. So it's fun. It's if you are someone who, you know, isn't necessarily here for the combat or the strategy, if you're here for the waifus, if you're here for, you know, the love story, the characters, this is really going to be a game for you. There's other content which you can do, which of course, enhancing your character. You have, of course, soul ascension, which is a thing which is in most games, right? Which is where you're going to ascend souls. They're going to get their level cap increased, so you will need dupes of multiple units. I haven't gone through and seen what the max amount of dupes is that you can get, but you can see even here, I can actually ascend them to the purple level, which is the highest that you can pull. So there's a lot going on here that is just overall really good. It's not terrible. And while I personally, you know, get really turned off from what I would consider like waifu simulator games or games that are almost all or exclusively waifu, I do think there's a lot of people that are my viewers, that are a lot of people who would enjoy this type of game. I think they would get a good run out of it, and I think they would enjoy this until things like Blue Protocol came out in the future. For me, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because Fire Emblem comes out next week, or comes out tomorrow, sorry. But definitely one of those games you should check out and consider. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this game down in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you guys all next time.